West Ham United 1, Manchester United 1. And Man United escape the London Stadium with a point after a 96th minute Benjamin Šeško equaliser. But overall, I think, it was a poor performance by Manchester United going forward. I think we are a little bit lucky to be coming away with a point, but I think it is 2 points dropped against a poor West Ham side, and overall this season it's 4 points dropped overall against West Ham after we drew with them at Old Trafford earlier on in the season. But before we get into all that, let's speak a little bit about the starting lineup. So you had Lammens starting net, of course. Back four of Dalot, Maguire, Shaw, Martinez. Maidou, Casemiro in midfield. Ahmad, Bruno Fernandes, Cunha in behind Bryan Mbeumo. So it was the same lineup as mine that I predicted, that I went for in my preview. So there were no changes in that. In terms of the first half, I thought it was a pretty even first half. West Ham got off to the slightly better start, in my opinion. They have a shot in the first shot in the 9th minute. Summerville steps inside Dalot to whip a teasing cross into the near post, which is flicked on by Bowen's glancing header and flashes just wide of the far post. Then Summerville has a shot in the 13th minute. Summerville cuts inside onto his right foot, and Lammens has to dive to make the save. Then United get their first real chance in the 22nd minute. Luke Shaw wins a corner after his shot is steered behind by Mavropanos, and the left back gets involved in the box from the set piece. Bruno Fernandes's delivery is drilled low, and Shaw meets it with a first time strike through the crowd, but former teammate Aaron Wan-Bissaka is covering the back post and clears it off the line for West Ham. And then in the 41st minute, Ahmad has a shot. Ahmad has stayed put on the left flank. Races in behind following some good link-up play between Shaw and Bruno Fernandes. Shaw sets up the Ivorian for a shot, and Ahmad's left foot finish clatters the side netting. So that was about it in terms of the first half. I think defensively, both sides were good in the first half. It was a good performance defensively by both sides in the first half. There was no space for either side in the attacking third. When either side had the ball, the opposition would drop back into their two banks of four and make it really difficult for the opposition to play through them. The space was out wide. There was no space in the center of the pitch. But yeah, in terms of the first half stats, if you have a look at the first half stats, United had 60% possession compared to West Ham's 40%, and United had 3 shots compared to West Ham's 2, and both sides had 1 shot on target. So in terms of viewing, in my opinion, it was a poor first half performance by both sides. I think it was flat. I think it was poor going forward by both of them. A boring game. I was on my phone a little bit, kind of just getting bored because not much was happening in the first half. But in terms of the second half, things did get lively in the second half. In terms of the second half, it was a poor start to the second half by Manchester United. Soucek makes it 1-0 to West Ham in the 50th minute. Bowen beats Shaw to a bouncing ball on the halfway line and plays a 1-2 with Soucek moving out to the right side. The captain strikes while the irons are hot, firing a low ball across the face of goal, which Soucek gets to first and taps beyond Lammens at the near post to make it 1-0. I think Luke Shaw is poor in terms of letting the ball bounce on the halfway line. He should be getting his head on it and clearing the ball away, because when he loses that kind of altercation in near the halfway line, West Ham are on the front foot, and West Ham pouring bodies forward. Man United on the back foot. Defensively, we're not quite in shape. I think it's Kobbie Mainoo possibly that lets Soucek run off him, and then Soucek is there to kind of prod it home from close range to make it 1-0. Lammens can't really do anything. It's not really his fault. And yeah, I think it was a poor goal that we conceded. To give up. I think obviously Luke Shaw letting the ball bounce, then Kobbie Mainoo. I think it was Kobbie Mainoo letting Soucek run off him behind, and Soucek makes it 1-0. So it was a poor goal that Man United gave up, unfortunately. And then in the 63rd minute, Casemiro thinks he's made it 1-1. Menu puts in a cross from the right side of midfield. Casemiro heads it into the net, but it's ruled out for offside, and rightfully so. Yes, Casemiro was offside, and had he stayed onside, had we gone 1-1 in the 63rd minute, I think it was only Man United were going to win the game, because West Ham came with a clear plan. Had they, with the lead that they were basically gonna sit in and make it really difficult for Man United to break them down. But yeah, United make a couple of substitutions in the 68th minute. Maguire and Cunha do go off for Euro and Sesko. And Mbeumo then has a header that goes wide in the 77th minute. Casemiro picks out short on the run with a clipped pass down the left channel, but the defender's cross is met by Mbeumo in the box and headed well wide off the far post. Then in the 81st minute, United do make a final substitution. Dalot does go off for Zirkzee. Then in the 92nd minute, after Man United flood bodies forward and they are short at the back, Euro has to make a good last-ditch block to stop a Adama Traore shot. Then Zirkzee has a header in the 94th minute. Bruno Fernandes fires another United cross into the box where Zirkzee meets it at the near post with a glancing header that flashes inches wide and behind. Then, thankfully for Manchester United, Benjamin Šeško rescues a point for us when he makes it 1-1 in the 96th minute. Mbeumo takes Ahmad's wide pass to feet and quickly curls a cross into the box where the ball lands right in front of Sesko. The Slovenian is side on, but meets it with a first-time right-footed flick that flies into the top corner to make it 1-1. And it was a really well-taken strike by Benjamin Šeško, has to be said. Really well-taken strike by Sesko. Really good finish by him. Really clinical. A difficult finish as well. He has to hit it first time. He's not got a lot of time to kind of get that shot off, and it goes into the top corner to make it 1-1, and then Sesko rescues a point for us. But overall, in my opinion, I think it's 2 points dropped. I'm pissed off at the result. I'm pissed off at West Ham because we've dropped 4 points to them this season. We dropped 2 points earlier on at Old Trafford with that 1-1 draw at Old Trafford. Now we've drawn again with them today, and it's 4 points overall dropped against West Ham this season, which is nowhere near good enough, if you want to be challenging for league titles and stuff, which we're not, of course, but even for a top 4 race, you need to be beating these relegation fodder sides. West Ham, I hope they get relegated because I'm pissed off that we dropped points against them. But I have to give a little bit of credit to West Ham. Defensively, they were good. They limited Man United to no space in between the lines. They sat compact in a mid to low block, limited spaces and limited central ball progression, and the space was out wide, and we were putting crosses into the box, but there was no one really attacking there. I think we kind of lacked Sesko starting, in my opinion. If we were going to be putting crosses into the box, then Sesko probably should have started the game, in my opinion. But in terms of the goal that we conceded, it was poor defensively to concede that goal against West Ham. And if we get more of these results are exactly why we could not be finishing inside the top 4. And it's another game where we've not kept a clean sheet. And defensively, of course, it's not good enough to be conceding that goal against West Ham, because apart from that, they didn't really threaten, in my opinion. But yeah, let's get into the player ratings. Then we'll take a look at some of the stats, and then we'll take a look at the league table. Lammens has got a 7.1 here. He had to make 2 saves. Wasn't really troubled. 21 out of 25 accurate passes at 84%. 5 out of 9 accurate long balls with 56%. Decent performance. Couldn't really have done anything about the goal. Wasn't really troubled. Like I said, had to make 2 saves, and that was about it, really. Diego Dalot picked up a yellow card as well for his troubles. Kept Summerville reasonably quiet, apart from that one shot that Summerville had in the first half. But apart from that, can't really complain about his performance. Obviously, he did pick up the yellow card. I think he picked up a yellow card. Yeah, he did, yeah. 36 out of 40 accurate passes with 90%. Duels, he's won 3 out of 5, so good in terms of his duels. Maguire, Most accurate passer to play 45 minutes or more. 49 out of 51 accurate passes with 96%. Duels, he's won 5 out of 5, so he's won 100% of his duels. So good performance by Harry Maguire. I'm not quite sure why he was taken off, because he is a threat late on in games from set pieces and headers and stuff. So, and also the crosses that we were putting into the box. It would have been interesting if we just gone 4-4-2 with Sesko and Maguire up top and then put balls into the box and see how West Ham would have dealt with that, because I don't understand why we were crossing so much when we've not got Sesko on the pitch. Possibly because maybe that was West Ham's plan. Allow Man United the ball out wide, give him space out wide, allow him to cross him into the box, and then you've got Mavropanos and Disasi, the West Ham centre backs, kind of being comfortable with that. Maybe that was the game plan. I'm not sure, but Maguire had a decent performance. 100% dual win rate. 4 out of 4 ground duels won. 1 out of 1 aerial duel won. So decent performance by Harry Maguire. Yeah, and like I said, I'm not sure why he was taken off. And then Lisandro Martinez. 100 out of 108 accurate passes, 93%. Decent performance by Lisandro Martinez as well. I think possibly for the goal, he could have done a little bit better in terms of covering the cross or cutting out the cross. I'm not sure who was kind of near Bowen when Bowen crossed in the ball. It might have been Luke Shaw. I don't know who. I think defensively for the goal that we conceded, it was poor kind of all round. We should have got the player, I think the United players, I'm not sure who it was now, but we should have got out to Bowen to block the cross. I'm not sure who the closest player to Bowen was at the time, but we should have done a little bit better to kind of block that cross that Bowen put in, because he comes away with the assist. And then obviously Soucek puts into the back of the net, and we need to be tracking that run from Soucek better. I don't know who was at fault for that necessarily, but yeah, Luke Shaw, he's got a 7.7 here on FootMob with the player of the match. Had this shot in the 22nd minute from that corner set piece routine. Unfortunately, didn't go in. Wan-Bissaka cleared it off the line. 52 out of 59 accurate passes, 88%. 2 chances created. And then duels, he's won 8 out of 11. So he's done decent in terms of his duels. So he's done well there. And then Kobbie Mainoo, 61 out of 66 accurate passes with 92%. 6 passes into the final third. Decent performance by Kobbie Mainoo. 5 out of 9 duels won. So that's decent by Kobbie Mainoo as well. And then Casemiro, 54 out of 67 accurate passes, 81%. Scored from an offside position. Unfortunately, should have been timing his run a little bit better. He can see across the line. So that was a little bit unfortunate that goal didn't go in the 63rd minute. And had we scored earlier on, I think we would have gone on to win the game, in my opinion, So that was a little bit unfortunate that, he was offside for that. In terms of his duels, he's won 8 out of 12. So he's won the majority of his duels, so he's done well there. Ahmad completed the most dribbles of the match with 3. Had this one shot in the 41st minute, but 0 chances created by Ahmad this match. Not good enough in my opinion. Only had the one shot, which was off target. In terms of his duel, he's won 6 out of 9 ground duels won, so that's decent as well. But going forward, wasn't really threatening, didn't really offer too much, wasn't really in the game, and I think our whole forward line wasn't really up to it today. Bruno Fernandes, 60 out of 69 accurate passes, 87%. 4 chances created, which is decent by Bruno Fernandes. And then 3 out of 8 duels won for Bruno, so possibly could be doing better there. Didn't win a single aerial duel, which is unfortunate. And then Brandon Mbeumo, he had 2 shots, but provided the assist for Benjamin Šeško's equaliser, but 30 out of 36 accurate passes, 83%, 2 chances created. Duels, he's won 1 out of 6, so he's not done great there in terms of his duels, possibly could be doing better there. And then Cunha, again, he didn't really offer too much. 0 shots, and I think he started in the striker position here on FootMob, but he kind of did drift out wide a little bit. I think the front 4 did interchange their positions a little bit this match. 24 out of 29 accurate passes with 83%, and then 1 out of 3 ground duels won. So yeah, in terms of the starting 11, I think if we were going to be putting balls into the box, I think we should have started with Benjamin Šeško up front. I think that overall though, we probably It was a poor performance, flat going forward, and we didn't really offer too much. In terms of the substitutes though, Lenny Euro made a couple of last-ditch blocks from Adama Traore, or just, I think it was one block, but you know, he had to be called upon in terms of defensively. He's made 2 blocks there, so he's done well. 1 out of 1 ground rule 1, so that's decent. Sesko obviously scored the equaliser in the 96th minute, which was a really well taken strike. Really good finish by Benjamin Šeško. Didn't win a single duel, unfortunately, so 0 out of 3 duels. 1, unfortunately, for him. And then Zirkzee didn't really offer too much. Had this header in the 90th minute, which was off target. Possibly could be doing better there with that header. 1 out of 3 duels won. So overall, I think it is 2 points dropped because West Ham are a poor side, and West Ham did come with a game plan. Yes, the plan was to stifle Manchester United going forward, to frustrate Manchester United, give them possession, and like we've seen in terms of ball possession, when we've had the majority of ball possession in matches this season, we've not come away with the win, and that's really unfortunate that we are still struggling against low blocks. I think that we need to fix up in terms of trying to be beating low blocks, because if we are next season anyway, I think that more sides are going to be just kind of learning how United are doing this season, and they're going to be setting up in a low block, and they're just going to be to United, come break us down, and and if we can't, then we're going to be really frustrating to watch next season, and obviously the remaining matches this season as well. Like I said, ball possession 65% compared to West Ham's 35%. But with that, West Ham are beating us with the expected goals with 1.08 compared to United's 1.62. 9 shots for Man United, compared to West Ham's 7. 3 shots on target for each side. 1 big chance for United, 1 big chance missed. West Ham had 2 big chances and 1 big chance missed for West Ham. So if you have a look at the duels, we have beaten West Ham in terms of duels. We've won more duels than West Ham, 1 more ground duels, 1 more aerial duels, had more successful dribbles as well. So in that, we've performed well in terms of duels. Pass accuracy was decent as well with 88%, but in the final third, we lacked cutting edge. We lacked that kind of final ball. And West Ham defensively, has to be said, I'm going to credit them. They did play well defensively. They limited Manchester United to, like I said, only 3 shots on target in 90 minutes, and the goal that we scored was in the 96th minute of injury time. So in terms of the full 90 minutes, United only had 2 shots on target. So obviously the third one came in the 96th minute when Benjamin Šeško scored the equaliser. But overall, in my opinion, it was a flat performance. Going forward, it wasn't good enough. Nowhere near good enough. This is probably our worst performance under Michael Carrick so far. Unfortunately, we aren't coming away with 5 Premier League wins in a row. That lad has to wait another month or so for a haircut. Another 5 Premier League games, up until he gets a haircut. And who knows, it may be up next season, until he gets a haircut. But is it what? I don't even really care about the haircut. I just wanted us to get the 3 points today, and unfortunately we haven't done so. And like I mentioned before, it's 4 points dropped against West Ham this season. Not good enough against these relegation fodder sides. It's nowhere near good enough. I'm frustrated. I'm annoyed because we need to be cementing our place in the top 4. And with Chelsea dropping points as well today with that draw against Leeds, and then we could have gone up to 3rd place. We could have gone up to 3rd, tied on points with Aston Villa had we won today. And it's opportunities like that have come this season that we've not managed to grasp with both hands. When we've had opportunities to climb to the top 4, we've drawn or we've lost. And like I said, simply isn't good enough in terms of the result. Performance wasn't good enough either. And you can have a look at the stats here. 3 shots on target for Manchester United in 96 minutes of football isn't good enough in my opinion. That needs to improve. But like I said, in terms of previous performances, we have done well under Michael Carrick, and this has been Michael Carrick's probably worst game overall. Obviously, it is Michael Carrick's worst game because we're drawing, and obviously we didn't create nowhere near enough to win the game. And yes, 2 points dropped. 4 points dropped against West Ham this season, nowhere near good enough, and we missed the chance to climb to third place. And it is a little bit unfortunate that's happened. I'm pissed off. Hopefully West Ham go down. You can see West Ham in 18th. Bun West Ham, mate. I'm pissed off with that result. But yeah, some people can be like, it's a good result because we scored a 96th minute equaliser, but I don't care. I'm pissed off with that draw. It isn't good enough. And next up, we do have Everton away from home, so hopefully we can pick up 3 points in that game and get back to winning ways. Anyway, if you enjoyed this review, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.